Back.
On the computer, recording. Let's do it. All right, yeah, carry on.
Yeah, so they're like, finished my job early, so they're like, oh, you can go if you want. I'm like, done. I'm like, I'm out.
Love
See
it.
ya.
Love it.
So, went and potted around the house and did a few things, went to the gym. So it was good. It was a good day.
Sick. You got your, what, coffee or tea there?
Tea.
Tea. Oh, man, I did not think you were a tea drinker. That's okay.
I'm a coffee in the morning. At night, I prefer tea because I just don't like too much of a caffeine hit. That's all.
True. I've just never, I've had tea once and I've just never liked it.
It's an acquired taste. It is an acquired taste. I do enjoy a good cup of tea every now and then.
Yeah. No, that's cool. All right, so run me through what we were talking about last week.
Where do we start?
Run me through the 7 days between our call last week and now.
It's been an interesting week. I don't know if you've seen my post on Instagram how basically I'd been a bit quiet.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a few family issues going on at the moment, you could say. There's potential death in the family, which actually didn't end up coming to fruition, which was good, but still not out of the light yet. And then, my parents have been stressing out, and they've been stressing me out, and it's just been a whirlwind of roller coasters. So, trying to focus on doing my social media and my PT business as well as work, and trying to juggle them. I just went, nah, I need to have a step back from something for the week. And to me, that was the social media. I'm just like, nah, that's just going to have to wait for a week and let me recharge a bit. Because I was in no frame to be posting content or anything like that. I just, mentally, I was drained. Just drained.
Yeah. And, throughout the whole entire time, hopefully this isn't too loud. So the whole entire time I've done my PT, including online, I've probably gone through so much shit that you're about to go through. And for instance, I'll run you through the scenario. This is probably similar, probably relate best to you. So me and my grandma used to be like real tight, like everything, every memory, every photo, every graduation, everything. She's there with my mum and my dad. And then we talk all the time. And then randomly, I got a phone call from her when it was great, but I'm this like psychic person at the moment. But I got a phone call from her when I was in the gym, and I was like, after doing my normal morning block, got on the phone, saw it was her name, and I said, cool, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. It was her sister told me she was dead, right? First person the whole time that she held me the first time, like she was the first person to hold me, including before my mum. So it was kind of unique and probably her way of me finding out first as well. But it was kind of like I was literally 5 minutes away from a client that absolutely fucking hated me, right? She just wanted to help. She didn't give a shit about me. She ripped me out all the time. Fair enough, I don't give a fuck, right? She was 65 of 70 different clients or 70 different sessions that week. But I looked at myself and I got 4 phone calls and I was like, fuck. Like I picked up the mum one and I declined the other 2. I said to my auntie, I was like, not auntie, grand auntie or whatever. I said, I got to just get to work, right? So the thing that I've done extremely well, and it shows it's different to different people. Like a lot of my relationships have been either broken up because they think I'm just like this cold person, but I'm very much a line between as soon as I close the door at work, I'm now not work, I'm now myself. As soon as I open the door, I'm now work full time. So whatever happens in the day, you learn through things like you've just gone through, how to understand how to manage things and not be so stressed. Because I can hear it from your voice, right? I can hear how much shit you're dealing with. You're probably not even telling me half of it, which is fine. But you can use that as me as well. Like if you're going through the shit, jump on the fucking voice memo and send me a voice memo and say, this is what I'm going through. What do you think the best approach is? How have you dealt with it in the past? Because what I did was understand it. And then in my head, I'm like, fuck, I've got to fit 70 times 2 into 1 week. So I nearly did 100 and something. So I could go away for a whole entire week. But that week that I was away, I made money. I sold people online. I kept everything ticking along. And I kind of very detached myself from, okay, these people aren't me, right? They would not want me to be this way because they want the best from you, including your family. Like I moved from Dunedin to Wellington because my mum lost her mum. Like she lost her best friend. She lost the person she brings every single day, every single night, same time, same day, same time, every night she would ring. And when that stopped, I mean, that's your support system gone.
Yeah.
regardless of marriage or not. So I picked up everything and moved. I lost friends, I lost relationships, but family's more important. But what I realized was understanding that even when I was there, I still couldn't control the outcomes. I still couldn't be that person. So what you've got to say is, okay, cool. From a third eye point of view, can you control anything that what you went through? If no, then understand that it's as bad as it looks, as bad as they're taking it out on you. Look at it from a point of view and say, hey, this is all I can do. This is all I can offer. It's like I've been in situations where clients have been asked for money and then they stop paying me because they have to help the family. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not helping them, right? That's not helping you most important. So understand that, okay, this is the one time it's happened. It'll probably happen again. It's a long line. But can we create systems so that when it happens again, you can kind of go, cool, scheduling posts, understand calls, understand, you can take 2 or 3 days off. And most importantly, at the end of the day, like things aren't going to explode if everything goes to shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I got locked out of my VIP group for 2 weeks and I was like, great, there goes my engagement that I worked 6 months to get. You know what I mean? So I didn't let that get me down a single thing, because at the end of the day, someone's going to sign with me regardless of a VIP group or not. But back in the day, I would have taken that as a really bad thing. I would have got super angry. I would have just been really annoyed and probably stopped. But because I'm in this role and because I've developed all these systems internally, this is also including with the business side of things. This is the coaching side of what I offer. Although you may not feel like I've been through that scenario, so you also might not say, okay, I don't want to offload that. And it's very personal. I agree. Like, it's fine. But the scenarios that you're going through, you don't have to give me the details. Just say, this is what I'm going through. Because you also need a person, right? You also need a person that's been through this shit. But most importantly, don't look at it from I've only got an hour with them every week. I can't talk to them more than that, right? And then detach yourself from the fact that you've known me previously to this. Because when I put my business cap on, it doesn't matter what relationship, friends group, or whatever we're doing behind the scenes. Everything is about you for the hour, and also, as long as you want to be, if that makes sense. Because these things, when these things come up, they'll come up at the most random times. And also, you're working so hard to make this work. We don't want you to feel like that was for nothing. You don't want to get to a point I've been where I sat in my grandma's bedroom and I was like, fuck me. What was the point of the last 3 years? I could have been up here chilling with her, working at a gas station, just absolutely enjoying family time. But she was the first person every single time, no matter what happened, to congratulate me, apart from the people that were actually there, which was my mum and dad.
Yeah.
She always
sorry, you're right. Keep going.
Oh, you keep going.
I think what I struggle with the most is like what I'm relating to there is it's a very similar scenario, because it's actually my grandmother that's actually Basically, she went for an op last week, and it was a 75% chance she was not going to come out of it. It was going to kill her on the table. So for 2 days I was stewing on that. But what I was struggling with is, because obviously we had our talk and everything like that, and this was like the next day, this shit's been dumped on me by my parents, and I'm just like, fuck.
Yep.
So at the same token too, I've gotten, I've had the talk with you, and I'm like, okay, I've got 7 days or a week here, and I'm like, I also need to focus on my business. But I was struggling to try and maintain focus on what I needed to do there, whilst separating that, because I'm working from home on this.
Yep.
So whenever I was here, it's just like my mind just wanted to be elsewhere, and I couldn't focus. It wasn't until probably the Saturday when I got the call that she actually come out of the op. Like, she's tough as nails.
Yeah.
She come out of the op all right. So she's got a little bit longer to live now. And that's when I sort of started refocusing on the work side of it, and I started posting a little bit more again. Still, obviously, struggling to provide. I suppose because my mind's elsewhere. I'm struggling to get ideas for posting. And I managed to come up with what I sent you before over the last 2-3 days, and I'm just like, I was really, really happy with that. That scenario that I've written below that little graph of clients, that's actually one of the girls that wants me to train her better, and I don't really know how to approach it. That's why I wrote it down.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that's pretty much exactly what I've been dealing with clients, is exactly that scenario. And that's the clientele I want to go for. So that's why I was like, if I write this down from that, you might be able to, I don't know, give me some tools here to help.
Yeah, for sure.
I suppose.
So yeah, the thing is, you've also got to realize that shit's going to happen. Like you get in a relationship, you're going to kiss your ass goodbye to some scenarios that you're just going to get fucking pissed off, because that's what relationships are. I remember coming home from like winning or getting nominated for an award again, and I sat down. I was super excited. Everyone is a fucking downer. I was like, you can't make this shit up, right? You got to make a decision, right? Oh, they were just other drama, like other bullshit fucking shit that I had to deal with. And then also, like, I've had scenarios this week that could have easily 2, 3, 4 months ago, before I started really doubling down on what I was telling myself and making into systems. I get messages from ex-girlfriends, like scenarios where they're like punching mirrors and they're bleeding and they send me messages and they ring me and all this crazy shit, bro. So what you've got to realize is that when you are in the forefront of creating something that isn't standard, there is no real pathway in order for how do you cope with it, right? So for instance, your path is in terms of the end result the same as mine, but the pathway that you go down is going to have different kind of roads going off it, that you can either choose to dictate your main path or just associate a system that you can create to help others. So for instance, my ultimate mindset was made when I went through the darkest time I've probably ever gone through. And I really was, it was actually, I can remember, I was writing it on the way to my grandma's funeral, right? So I had all this shit to go through. I had all this other stuff, but my business mind, for some reason, always switches on. And I'm like, cool, how can I help someone else that's going through this? Create a system, ultimate mindset, take my mind off things, write it down. And then that's been downloaded over a couple thousand times, and it's been through my whole entire business. So that car ride that I could have just felt bad about myself and felt like I wasted time and all this negative thought, I associated with something that could help more people. So it's not going to be as easy as that, and it definitely wasn't that easy. But what I'm saying is that you go through unique scenarios that thousands go through, but nothing ever changes for them. Now you have to go through this. For instance, the scenario, I'll take a bullet for most people in my circle. 100%, don't even think about it. I'll do it, because at the end of the day, a life is just a life for me anyway. In terms of like, if that saves someone else, sweet. I'm that focused. In terms of that's just the way I am in the stage of my life. But the way that I got there was understanding that like you have to go through shit so your clients can get the results they deserve, if that makes sense, because your clients are going to get this stuff. And then eventually, when you get big enough and more powerful, you will coach other business owners to do this shit. And then it'll just be a flow-on effect. So whatever you go through from now until the end of time, think about it from a point of view is that I'm not just going to waste this opportunity of shit that I had to go through. I'm not just going to search for the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to tune my positive energy into things that are going to help. Yes, the thing is with online coaching and PT at the same time, it's very hard to manage, right? It's very hard because you probably love at this point in time online coaching probably more than face-to-face, and definitely more than your normal job, right? So you're in a triangle effectively. I was only in a line, right? I only had to smack out the middleman, but I gave up a lot to take this risk. I could have easily just done the same thing, doing my 70 sessions every week, making the same money, settled down, got married, had kids, and then boom, right? But I didn't. The negative shit that was in the thing, I chose like, I need to change. I need to do something. I want to help more people. So don't, like the same thing. Like you would tell a client if she got a low weigh-in or she emotionally ate because of something she went through, what would you tell her? It's only 1 week.
That's right.
50, you've got 51 other weeks that you might not have to go through anything. This might have just been your challenge of the year. But that doesn't mean you can't create a system that's going to help you grow as an individual, because you as a coach, which is 90% of the job, not actually a PT online, you can use the emotions in emails, in scripts, in webinars and live videos and talk about what you went through, because if someone resonates with you because you nearly lost someone. Imagine how emotional connect. Yes, I know it's very kind of sensitive and you might not be ready to produce that, but the biggest thing I do is I talk about things. I talked about her in my email like 2 days ago and said, I had a choice, and all this other stuff that I went through and all this, and understood that, these things don't happen in your life to make you feel worse and make you feel worse off. They make you learn and grow as a person. Otherwise, trauma wouldn't happen to us.
True.
Again, you can't have all that shit going through your mind by yourself as well. As a business owner, it just can't happen. You need something, someone to go to or close the door or do something, because trust me, I've been there. You can't manage that much stuff, and you're managing more than I had to at that time. You can't expect yourself to learn, be able to do everything if you're not looking after yourself first. Oxygen mask, plane crashes, have to be selfish.
Hmm.
Trauma, be selfish, look after everyone else second. The only reason your parents and stuff are coming in you like that is because that's what they're doing, right?
Hmm.
They're probably doing it because they want to protect you. They want to move through. If it's not the case, then we just have to become more selfish. Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them. That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, oh, fuck them.
Honestly, the amount of people, I go home and I'm like, Mum, man, like I'm like, sometimes I want to say to my parents, like, just leave me alone.
Hmm.
And I said to you, hey, I'm going to sit you down and going through what I'm going through, and like online, I'm probably going to just be fucking annoying. So I'm not going to live at home. Right? Or I'm going to get an office like I have. The reason I got an office is because of that environment.
Because of that environment, yeah.
Right. So they're not, and you've got to look from a point of view. They're not going to turn around and disown you. They're not going to, like,
No.
you're too old for that shit anyway. And to be fair, they need you more than you need them as they get older. Right. So as harsh as that is, you'll see how brutal I am, bro. And this is with it, because this is business at the end of the day. Like, we want to keep building, we want to keep going. This is what happens. But what else has been going on? Is that everything, or?
I nearly quit my job last week.
Yeah. Again, the thing is, you're going to go through so many testings, and most of our conversations, and this is why I said sometimes we might need two, because I want you to feel like you've got that ability to go through things. You're going to want that, do that more. If that feeling's like now, imagine when you start doing online.
Oh, God. Yeah, I went around to a mate's and I was just like, do you reckon I'd be judged if I just quit my fucking job? Because I had an absolute shit week last week. Nothing went right for me at work. And I was just like, then my boss ripped it up me. Then the manager ripped it up me. And I was just like, I don't need this shit. I just don't need this.
I'll be truthful and say that, the only thing that's going to change in that scenario is that you're going to be the fall guy for a lot of, man, the emails that I've got 4 emails. I've cleared 200 emails today and I just keep getting them. Right. So you got to remember that even when you're the fall guy now, when you're in your own business, you have other people that are fucking dickheads, like my fucking coaches and my fucking marketing people, or not my marketing, my digital people. I'm like, my claims people, right? I lose shit and it takes long. I'm like, why is no one on a timeline? But you've got to remember, not many people will be like you. So the way that you think, the process that you think, whenever you decide to do a fully online or PT hybrid model for the rest of your life, you're going to want to expand because that's just your nature. You're going to then have to hire people, and you're going to have those people think the same thing about probably what they're going to think about you're thinking about your boss.
True.
So the way that we take things is our interpretation of what they're. Imagine if he got ran over, his foot got ran over by a trolley, and he's just a fucking dickhead. He might just be a dickhead. Who knows? But you've got to also remember that dickhead is probably either intimidated or doing something from another point of view, or he's just a dickhead. End of the story. But we can't just keep saying that it's we don't want to take the energy away from you. Take it away from them and say, okay, it's their fucking opinion. Who cares? When I get trolled all the time, I get emails back saying my grammar's shit. I'm like, cool story, bro. I don't care. It got sent to 3,500 people. You don't even know 3,500 people, let alone send an email. You can't even put a profile picture up without being judged. Like, you can't judge yourself. You got to realize that people just have opinions and they'll use them regardless. People will just get annoyed. You want to quit. My mum wants to quit. My dad wants to quit. I want to quit sometimes. It's just a different scenario in a different world. You just need those days. Those are the days where you smash some Xbox and some beers and you just chill, right? And just realize these kids are paying me, fuck them, who cares? Or use the money.
Yeah.
And again, that's why you have your circle, because then when I talked about it, your circle is super important, because imagine if they gave you the wrong information based on a negative start point. So they were saying it because they want you to fail. They'll give you the wrong information. You might follow through, and that's when you've got to come to the right people and talk to the right people as well. Because trust me, I've shit advice in my lifetime. But the main point of the task, and like I said, it may take you more than a week to comprehend it. The reason, and if I was to bring the message up now before we screen share, is that we want to make sure that when we write about the thing, the problem or the issue or the client, we're not just copy and pasting. It's the wrong word. What is the key fundamental difference that you're going to fix for the client compared to every single person on the world in the online space? Like what's your town called? Right, suburb.
Mackay. So I'm in Walkerston. Yeah.
Okay, Walkerston. You might be the guru of getting people to love themselves again in your local area. You might be the fucking bee's knees of just that. Problem is, if you talk to everyone, market to everyone in terms of using kind of really unspecific language, which you haven't used, you kind of then don't reach anyone, right? So unless you point out to them in the video only, no photos, is that if you do the video and say, I know what you're going through. You get to the end of the night and you're intimidated because you don't think your husband finds you attractive. You might be annoyed at the fact that you can't even go to someone's dancing class and feel confident to be someone's mum because you're worried about judgmental bitches being at dance class and judging you.
Yep.
And also, you've raised 3 boys, which means you've gone through 3 pregnancies, which means you've gone through 9 times 3 of months of trauma, and you expect yourself to look like this model or Barbie doll where actually you're doing things that people dream about doing. If you want to work on something that doesn't require a diet plan, doesn't require workouts, is a safe haven, this is what my X, Y, and Z product is all about. I want you to spend the time to look after you. This is how I do it. Blah, 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 blah. Right? So you can see how I would probably get a girl to be like super, to that message, to be like, fuck my husband, I'm going to this guy. Like, right?
I can tell you now, man, as you're rattling that off, I'm like, man, if I was a Sheila, I'd fucking sign up tomorrow with that little pitch there. I'm just like, fuck. And you just rattled that off the top of your head. Like,
but that's after 4 years of doing this. This is what fucked up so many people, because I went from 0 to my sessions in that small time, because when I could count, like, I don't have enough limbs or extremities to point to you right now the amount of times that I've had females that are like 40 or 50 years old in a consult room crying because no one's actually taken the time to ask them, are they okay? Do their husband love them? What's the real problem? Because if I give you a workout plan and give you a diet plan and charge you for that, it's not going to fix anything. So what are we fucking around for? Right? And that's why the whole process of them booking in themselves and them going through the steps and them going through them, feeling like it's their decision, not you forcing yet another thing down their throat, because they're forced to do all this shit every single day subconsciously. They're forced to work, they're forced to look after 3 boys. Yes, they wanted a family, but they're fucking stranded with them for a certain amount of years. Their marriage is going to be tested, which is something they invested so much time and energy in early. Then that person comes around and says, hey, I'm not attracted to you. How the fuck do you have the right to say that? Right? You just raised 3 boys. Fuck that guy. Right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, and then you say that shit, probably not swear, but you say that in a video, people are going to be like, oh shit. Why do you think people associate with James Smith so much?
True.
Because he goes against everything that everyone else has ever been telling them. Every marketing motherfucking PT, online coach, everyone has been telling them that they need to do. I mean, Duran's thing about body shaming, that is every PT known to man in New Zealand that thinks they're a PT.
Yeah.
The amount of clients, and this is why I run retargeting ads when I was a PT, retargeting ads of other gyms, is because I will take their clients without even trying, because I'm a genuine person.
Yeah.
Right. So understanding, and that's where the online space, you don't necessarily have that time with them. That's where the email marketing, that's where the messenger bots, that's where the products, that's where your live videos, that's where your webinars come in. I did a webinar where I did how to start loving yourself again, the 3 steps to bring back your self-love or whatever, which was real controversial at the time because it was when I first started doing thing, and everyone was like, why are you doing that? Blah, blah. I got like 30 people in my webinar live, and I converted 10 of them to be my clients. They're paying at $69 a week. You think that 40 minutes of webinars talking about shit that I would talk about in live video anyway was much different. It took me long. Like, I literally do the presentation before I go live, because I'm very much a person that will, just like you've seen, I will never be able to recreate that if I try, because I'll go down a different tangent. That spiel that I told you, I won't be able to do it again. This is why I record it.
Yeah.
I'll just go down another tangent. I'll come up with another idea. And this is when I realized that I was kind of like thinking a little bit differently in my city than everyone else. I know other people 10 times more than me, but I don't care, because the people in my VIP group, which I'm going to add you into, and the people in my realm and the clients that I do, 9 times out of 10, we just talk because they're paying me to just feel better about themselves. Their workouts, the diet plans are there, but they're guidelines. They're not structured. They're not, this is what you have to do. I had a conversation with a girl the other day and said, do you just want to get a bigger ass? I got not bigger ass, but bigger glutes, right? Is that something you wanted to really look at? And she's like, yeah, actually. Because 9 times out of 10, a PT would be too scared to ask that question because they're like, oh, I don't want to feel like I'm hitting on it. I'm like,
You're like creeping on it, yeah.
And you're creeping on her and just say, hey, do you want to focus on your glutes to feel better and more confident in jeans? She's like, hell yeah. I'm like, cool. We're going to do some more blah, 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 blah. Increase a little bit of a cardio because you're such a sedentary person. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I fixed the problem that's 800K away because I just asked the right questions.
Yeah.
And remember, it won't just be this kind of formula. Now you'll have a way different approach and you'll get your own nature and you'll go against the grain. And when I do these kind of calls in front of people, people are like, I want to buy your product. And I just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Right? So understand that everything is kind of trial and error in terms of for your mind. You might rewrite it in your mind. I'm sure you've probably got a different spiel that you might want to rewrite. The reason why it's like it's ever changing is that brief that we did in week 1, when we're in week whatever, it's probably going to change. The language will advance because your language will advance. The way to get our message across has always got to be video, because if you're moving, if you're emotion and you're kind of really vibrant, people are going to associate that with. If you're just got a picture, it doesn't do as much anymore. Gary Vee was right 2 years ago when he said digital is photos are dead. It's video. And you have to go so in deep into those videos and make sure people are, I mean, you look at every video on your newsfeed, it's got some big kind of presence about it.
True.
It takes too much for you to stop. So yeah, what we want to do this week is we want to go deeper into that, and this is how we build our community. So we talked about, just the page. So we want to build our community, right? So the idea is that we now know who we want. Now, what are we going to put? So you've got to think about it is, and this is what coaches do wrong, is they think, okay, once I've sold the program to them, once they're on my coaching program, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't matter at all. It's my job's done. They're going to pay me, but they don't think about the ROI of that client. That ROI could be 10 grand a year, 8 grand a year, 7 grand a year. If you just put them in an environment that does work for you, it is the best thing known to man. So I want you to kind of picture your client times 2,000, 3,000 people, because it's that big. You put them in the community. How do you want them to interact? Right? What's your message? How are you going to market to these people? Because the one thing that people do wrong is they think, I laughed at some guy that was at FedEx, IFS, and he was like, well, look at my coaching program. It's WhatsApp app chickens, email chickens, and a workout program and a meal plan. I'm like, how the fuck were you even near presenting in that challenge? Are you taking the piss? You're offering someone WhatsApp messages, probably because you want to slide in their DMs and be like, yo, come round to Leeds tonight or some bullshit. But the problem is, and this is why I spend so much time on it, is if we don't get it right the first time, it's very hard to retract our program instead of increase. The only thing we ever want to do is go forward, regardless if we make mistakes or whatever. So our price point has to be on point. Our offer is the biggest thing. And the way we market that, or present that offer, is super important. But we also have to have the thing that is the ecosystem of what we have. So my marketing is like, I'll show you at the end of this, to just give you a teaser of what we're going to go into, is that my marketing is layered. So every single time they go into something, they're going to get more content and more content and more content, me just asking more questions. It doesn't cost me a lot. It interacts with them. They know who I am. They warm up to me. They go from a cold to a warm lead, like I've talked before. But what a VIP group does is, imagine if you had a 2,000 of the person you were talking about. Would they stay on your program longer if they felt like 24/7 they were looked after other than you? Because they become dependent to another person. They're dependent to their husband. They're dependent to their family. They're dependent to their job. They're structured to get away from dependency because it's caused them so much trauma in their life. So if we put them into a VIP group that you put content into every day, and other people were encouraging them, and they got the balls to actually post, which is one of the hardest things you can possibly ever do.
Yeah.
If they started doing that, you are done. You are put your feet up. You've achieved mastery level 1. Because what's going to happen is you're going to go to sleep. You're going to have drama that's happened in your life, like it just has.
Yeah.
And you won't have to be present in that group, because Betty, Sarah, Georgia, Rachel, all of those people are your like almost moderators, and they're going to come through and be the ecosystem of your group. They're going to encourage the new girls to get on live video. They're going to post recipes. They're going to post hacks. They're going to post encouragement. One of the hardest things you have to to start from that. Now, the hack used to be is that you create a community group as well as a VIP group. And the community group was just a generic kind of like idealistic outcome that people do. So they'll join the community group and funnel them into your VIP group eventually. So it would work hand in hand. But now, because you have to accept everything, it doesn't work as much. So what we need to understand is that, 2 is always better than 1, but 100 always beats all of that. So your message is only as powerful as when they're hearing it. If they're hearing it 24/7 from other people, they're going to be like, okay, cool. I went through this really struggle. I went through this financial, but this community means more than me than the bill that just came through. My kid broke his arm, blah, blah, blah. It's my community. It's my outcome. It's my release that I get every day. I can scroll through that when I'm having a hard time. I can post in there and I feel like it's a safe environment. For instance, the only reason why I say only accept people that are in your program or have inquired about it is that let's say Rachel posts, oh my God, guys, I had a low weigh-in. Generic. And then fucking Paul comes through and says, oh, it's probably just because you haven't eaten anything since last night. The influence of someone's words can have a dramatic negative and also positive effect. So we only let certain people in, hence why VIP. But what we do is when we build our ecosystem of marketing, like I'll teach you later in the weeks, is that everything funnels into that VIP group because they're inquiring about what you want to do. Primarily, we want them only to go in there if they're booking calls, but we can, like for instance, now what I'm doing is running free products for them to download and encourage them to take the first step. And then they're in my advertising ecosystem, got their email, they're in my VIP group. They're going to see me every single day. So that's another way we can do it. Probably the easiest way to start off. But the idea is like what we want to come up with in terms of our name. We have to create a banner. We have to create the group. We have to create rules. And we have to create like your offers that are in the group that aren't actually advertised or aren't actually like available anywhere else but the group.
Okay.
I know it seems like a tedious kind of thing to do, but we get it right once, we never have to touch it. Like if I was to show you stats, if I was to go into see more, Team EPG, VIP. So this is my VIP group, right? But I'm like, important if you've answered yes to being interested in online coaching, which is the 2 questions that I asked before they come in. They said, what's your kind of goal? What's your reason for being in the group? And do you want 2 free body transformation phone calls? Now, they're not going to be the targeted people that I really want booking in, but again, it's fucking 3 people to get booked in, and they get into my ecosystem and it's good. Then I also have, we want to make a change, blah, blah, blah. Every week I'll be posting content, so please join us. If you don't engage in the content, then there will be no room for you in this group. Everyone in here is on the same missions, so support is key. Of course, if there's anything myself or my coaches can do, just ask. If it blah, 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 I repeat the kind of Calendly thing. Now, the engagement in groups have changed. You're coming into a period of time where it's kind of like on the pinnacle of massive change. It doesn't show you how much engagement's doing. It doesn't show you who's actually watching things. It doesn't show you what's engaging. And it's very, very hard to get people out of that ecosystem because Facebook kind of shit on them all the time if they don't engage in the posts. But it gives you a good insight. I do roundtables with my coach. I do videos all the time. I post content. My clients, post things. People communicate, watch my YouTube videos, 3 ways to decrease stress back in the day when I didn't rebrand, and all this kind of stuff, right? But the important thing is understanding if you go into members, I think it shows you. So I've got 1,700 members. I'll crack 2,000 by the end of the month. It doesn't matter.
Holy shit.
Just a number, right? It doesn't matter to me, but it means that I have an ecosystem of, how obviously it kind of doesn't make as much sense as emails, but let's say advertising stopped and you couldn't advertise for like 3 months. I know that I have an email list with 3,500, probably 4,000 by the end of the month, and I have nearly 2,000 people that I can talk to in here. Now, they're not engaging now. They just aren't getting notified, not because they don't want the content. It's just the way that Facebook do. So you've got to understand that all of these people are always going to be potential clients. They're just waiting for that specific offer that resonates with them. Now, if you get people that are exactly like-minded, but you will get people that are, on the fence. And this is how you put them over the fence before the call or, 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the line. And you'll get people that leave and say stupid shit. You just ban them and who cares if they leave. right? So this is the idea of what we want to do. The way we want to call it is something about your brand, VIP. You can put an emoji there if you want to, but the primary purpose is to give someone to go to. Like I've just got 5 today. I probably average about 5 to 10 a day. But you get people that are like, you get people that are voting, you get people that are like, okay, cool, like this is my problem. Like what I do this for is strategically understand what's the problem right now, and then I make videos about that problem. And then people are like, fuck, video about it, cool, like I'm gonna inquire more. Long-term ROI, not short-term. We can get short-term clients to the cows come home, but these are the puppies that we wanna have that are gonna actually stay on a program because they've been in the ecosystem for a long time. They've got a safe haven of people we can do. And when they come into your group and they see you've got 1,700 plus members, they're going to be like, this guy's not fucking around. At the early stages, of course, you got to grow. I started a year ago and it took me this long to get 1,700 people. Right? It's one of the fastest growing things I've ever done because I've just funneled people into the system.
I was going to say, that's impressive.
But it's just understanding that, you know, if you can put people that are like-minded, I'm talking about 50 to 100% like-minded, not 100% of everyone. They're going to motivate each other. They just need the right scenario. They need the right source. You know, while I'm away traveling, it's going to be very hard for me to structure my posts in terms of like putting a massive amount of effort into like video editing and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do is just do a live video every single day. I can do that. It's 20 minutes. Like when I do my emails, I do a live video. And then if I want to create content, I can with my camera and my tripod. But if I'm live every day, same with email. It may not work now, but in 2 months' time, when that person's like, man, you went live for 52 days in straight, you know? I'm like, yeah, but I need you to change. I'm just waiting for you to sign up. Imagine if you said that back. Like, doesn't matter if you don't sign up, but I know you need to sign up, so I'm here when you're ready. No one's saying that. Everyone's like, pay me, pay me, pay me, pay me, pay me. Cool? So that's the kind of side of things that we want to look at for this week, because it gives you a good kind of bridge to be like, okay, well, this is my perfect client. What is going to be my online coaching name? What is going to be my brand? Like Superheroes Elite, right? Superhero Mums Elite or Super Mums Elite, or something to do with the demographic that you talked about in there. You just come up with an idea. If you need more ideas, let me know. I can just brainstorm with you. Jump on voice memos, jump on voice notes, all that kind of stuff. Then once we get the brand name, you send it off to Fiverr. This cost me $10. Put some photos behind it, puts your social media accounts on, $10, easy, done. We create the group. Then we start understanding week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6. We start understanding the actual offer. We start actually understanding it fully. Then we create a marketing plan to be able to push that for at least 3 weeks. Now we can start small in terms of how we offer it. We can maybe do like a free 30-day challenge, and we just get some people that are on your social media accounts already. Like I said, when you offered that PT, you said you had inquiries already. So we don't need to spend a dime on Facebook ads yet. We reinvest everything that we can from online coaching back into online coaching, because you're luckily in a position where it's not your primary income. Sorry. But for me to give you an idea of where it leads to is this. So what I've done, they're all in review because I do them pretty much daily. But if I was to give you an example of yesterday, so everything kind of like correlates with what we're talking about yesterday. So you can see, like, for $9, you're reaching nearly 4,000 people. It's only costing me $2 every 1,000 people to watch my message. Per 5-day challenge, I had 6 applications for $1.
Yeah, right.
So you can see once, and this is, I'm not going to shit around the block. This has taken me a good amount of time to fine tune and get people that really want to engage and really want to convert. This should be higher, me being the kind of OCD bastard I am. I want it to be higher. It's only costing me $1 though, and I've only spent $6.
Yeah, right.
So about it from a numerical point of view and say, well, if I invested $6 into a can machine, and even if you converted 20% of that, right, or even 50% being a good thing, right, 49.
Yeah.
Now getting $147 consistently, because Facebook ads are consistent. You're getting $147 guaranteed every week because of that one, and it costs you $6. So that whole thing that we were talking about at IFS. You put money into a vending machine, you get money out. The idea is that you get someone in your system to teach you how to do this shit. Don't pay marketing companies to take it away from you. Get people in your circle that can teach you how to do this shit, and you trial and error, because your language, like you'll notice, is much different to someone like myself, to someone in your circle. And how is a marketing company going to be able to do that? Yes, they free up your time, but they talk differently. They don't know the ins and outs of female, client. And it has to look genuine. It can't look scripted. It can't look like it's a fucking Shav in Auckland sitting down, writing out an email script because he's, this email genius. Yes, you know the systems, but trial and error creates a lot more sustainability. And then once you're earning big money, you can then go out and pay someone.
Yeah.
But future down the line, I'm not talking about in the next month we're going to bombard Facebook ads, but you can see how the whole system kind of comes in together.
Yeah.
And, I'm only spending like $40 a day. It's not like anywhere near what I need to be spending. I'm just testing things. So at work, you buy a box of beer, it's like Facebook ads. You buy a box of beer, it turns out shit, no one complains. You buy some Facebook ads, fucking World War IV's panicking in your head because you're spending money. But like Paul said on his stories, it's an investment. It's tax deductible, it's tax write-off, it's easy. And once you get it right, it is like the best feeling in the entire world. When you see that number at 6 and you're like, cool, I only paid $1. It was at 70 cents. So now I'm fucking annoyed. I think it's because it's in review. But it was 70 cents this morning when I woke up, and I'm like, you know why I was so ecstatic? It's because I taught myself that technique, and now I can get paid for it because I taught that, mastered it, wrote a system, and now I give it to other people. So people don't have to fucking stay up all weekend and all night trying to figure out this one method. But that's why I do it. I'm driven. I'm understanding the whole system, but you can see the whole scenario and how it kind of correlates. If we miss one element, it kind of falls out.
Yeah.
Most importantly, before even Facebook ads, before we market, we have to talk about how we're going to present the offer, because if we don't get the offer right, it doesn't matter how much money you're spending on Facebook ads. The offer is super, language is super important. And that's why I don't look at Facebook ads until like week 7, week 8, however long it takes you to go. We have to role play. We have to do all these things, because if the offer doesn't feel right, it's not going to come across on the screen right.
Yeah.
If it doesn't feel like you nailed it, I know you're a perfectionist, so don't take me saying you have to perfect it. It doesn't have to be perfect. But it has to be like that one person that is going through it is going to look at that, stop, even if she's seen 4 or 5 different ads from other trainers, because she would have.
Yeah.
She would have seen the keto planner. She would have seen the 6-pack shortcuts. She should have been Keno Body. She would have seen all that shit, because they're spending tens of thousands of dollars a day to get that message in front of them. How are you going to stand away from that person?
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool, man. All right. Questions?
At this point, probably not too much.
Not too much. Yeah, again, like, we're not going to have too many going into our calls. Like I said, the reason why I record them is a database full of them. And again, obviously, the business coaching is going to be a PDF that I can send you, and then you don't have to worry about all that kind of stuff. This is why I take all of that stuff away from you and don't have to worry about writing notes and all that kind of stuff, because it's hard enough remembering this stuff, let alone trying to ingest it and remember and actually use it.
Yeah, cool. I was just about to say that. If you can send me that week 2 page, that'll be good, that PDF.
Yeah, for sure. Every week you're going to have a new one until probably we go over the same things more often, right? You're going to have a system. I've got systems for the whole entire eternity from PDF, so don't worry about that. But it's more about understanding that, whatever tool you need is where I come in. So asking questions, coming back and saying, hey, like, I have a social media planner for you. I've already done all the hard work of finding out the algorithms and times that you should be posting. The content is a little bit it changes every 6 months, so it's a little bit outdated, but it's still the same concept. We just turned a little bit more video rather than pictures, which was trendy 6 months ago.
No, it's good. I'll be ready for videos because my new iPhone's on its way.
Bro, I'm pumped for Friday. Did I tell you how fast I sold another one?
Yeah, no, I've seen that you sold it that quick. I was like, holy shit, that was fast.
Bro, I sold it for $1,100 as well. I don't know who's buying that, but he's a fucking dumbass.
How much? You got $1,100?
$1,100.
Fuck off.
I bought it for $1,800 on a plan, like on my business plan. So I didn't actually pay $1,800 because my plan comes 3 months early. So I get 3 months off. Yeah. So I didn't pay $100. I probably made money on the phone.
That's a score. Yeah, no, I ordered mine yesterday, the day before, and then your phone will be there by Friday. I'm like, Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so the best thing they do is they've actually standardized it so everyone gets it on the 20th, not just America. Okay, everyone gets it on the 20th. I remember like my Spark manager, like that we had around the corner from work, he messaged me in the morning and he was like, your phone's here. And I'm like, I was by the door by the time he finished the text. I was like, give me your phone.
It's going to suck because it's going to arrive when I'm at work and I'm going to be like, I just want to get home and get my phone.
Work online. That's the fun of it. Cool. All right.